guys, it's Selena Sardothian. JK, it's Laura, but I found this mask and it matches this book completely perfectly, especially her eyes. This matches Selena's eyes. I didn't find this mask. I've had it since I went to Venice like 10 years ago. So taking this off because it's very sticky. My face is probably super red now. Alright, so this is a joint book review of Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight because I felt like they could just go together really well and I could talk longer about both books rather than just a little bit about one or the other. This book series is about a woman, Selena Sardothian. She's 18 years old and she's the most acclaimed assassin in Ardalan. And she's been working in a salt work camp for the past year. Then the Prince of the Kingdom shows up and asks her to be his contestant against other contestants to be the king's champion, aka his personal assassin. And I thought that she just had to face all these other people in order to win, but it's actually a competition, very Hunger Games style. Everyone puts in their bid and then they all fight over a 4-month period. The first book, Throne of Glass, is about that and the struggle she faces with both her own personal past as well as struggling to figure out if she can become the champion and if she wants to serve this king who has wronged her. So they arrive at the glass castle. That's why it's called Throne of Glass. The castle is made of glass. Glassel. It's a glassel. It's a glassel. And it's not what it seems. There's magic and darkness all hidden within, and everybody at the court has their own hidden motives and agendas. And of course, it's up to our main protagonist to solve these problems and to fix the kingdom, because of course, why not? Why focus on a secondary character? Something else that's happening in this kingdom is that the king, do we ever actually know his real name? Or maybe I just forgot it? He outlawed magic 10 years ago. He killed everyone, he destroyed magical libraries, and he's slowly been conquering the entire continent, including Tesserin, where Selena is from. So of course she has a personal beef to pick with this king, but her freedom for 4 years of serving as an assassin is too good of a price to pay in order to be completely free and never be beholden to anyone ever again. Maybe the King of Ardalan isn't the best employer for Selena, but I mean, it comes with full benefits, you know, healthcare, lodging, travel expenses paid, you know, those are good things. You don't want to pass this up. Once you start paying for healthcare yourself, it's expensive, okay? So someone else taking care of that. Good things. There's always a love triangle in this book, but it's kind of believable enough. I'm fine with it. And Selena is sass-tastic. Oh my goodness, Selena Sardothian, can I be you? I love that she's not perfect. She's very flawed. She has her temper issues. She's very arrogant. And I think that's what endears her to me the most. I can't even remember all of her wonderful quips, but they're so great. I knew a bit about this book going in because my friend Holly, The Royal Words on Tumblr, I'll link her below. She's obsessed with this series. And I was spoiled about a few things, but overall, I think that helped with my enjoyment of the book, knowing a few things, especially Selena's past. Still enjoy these books, even though they were spoiled. So even if you've been spoiled, you're like, I'm putting this book off because I knew too much about it, it's still very interesting to read and not quite what you expect. I had read A Court of Thorns and Roses first because that one, if I have to wait for a book, it's not my own fault, it's because the book isn't out. This one I knew I was committing to 6+ books plus novellas. And it was really interesting to see how Sarah J. Maas's writing has improved, because in Throne of Glass there's a lot of moments where it's a paragraph and Selena's like, and then I told him about the magic and I told him about this and I told him about that happened, rather than in A Court of Thorns and Roses where she actually does all the things and she doesn't tell someone something about it after the fact. It's all very active, which I appreciate. I knew I would love this book series, except I didn't know how much I would love it until I got into it, so I'm very glad to have read it. Fantasy romances are my favorite. I don't know why, I don't know how, but they've definitely pulled me out of my reading slump. I definitely plan to read Heir of Fire and Queen of Shadows next. One thing though, if you are starting this book series, I would recommend reading, there's 3 or 4 novellas in The Assassin's Blade, which is a novella bind-up, and I would read the ones that were published in 2012. I'll link below because I don't know right now which ones you should read before reading Crown of Midnight, because there just were a few things about Selena's past as an assassin which I wish I'd known before reading Crown of Midnight. So that's my advice for you. Alright, so now things are gonna get spoilery and I would not want anyone to be spoiled. Spoiled? Spoilery? Spoiler. I wouldn't want you to be spoiled or spoiled. So either of those. Spoiler time. I want to talk about Selena's attitude. She's very full of herself despite things. Like, she still does have her moments of weakness and vulnerability, but of course she can't show that because it's been drained out of her for 7 years of assassinry. Assassinry? She keeps saying like, my name is Selena Sardothian and I will not be afraid, but I think she has to, because there's been moments in her life where she's been afraid, and if she needs to psych herself up, this is the same thing I say with Ian and Shreve. They're both strong characters and they should be allowed to be strong without seeming like they're full of themselves, where if that was a man saying that, it wouldn't really come across the same way. Just saying. I got very hungry while reading this book. Like Caltane, I just was like, Caltine bars, like from Mean Girls, kale chips, sugar cane, yum. This is kind of not spoilery, but I'm remembering to talk about now. I love that Sarah J. Maas wrote this on Fiction Press first, and I know it was called Queen of Glass there, so I see where she pulled that into Queen of Shadows, which I'm intrigued to find out what happens there. I just know that everyone had feels after that book. So I really appreciate that she started there and then loved it so much that she turned into a book. I love hearing those success stories. She also really loves fairies, and she also really loves masquerades, as you could tell from A Court of Thorns and Roses. There's 2 masquerades, one in Throne of Glass and one in Crown of Midnight. Masquerade! Paper faces on display! Masquerade! Dun, 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 so the world can never find you. I'm in love with the library. I love that both of her book series have gorgeous libraries. The library gets way more interesting in Crown of Midnight. Holy cow. I was reading Crown of Midnight like really late, like 2 a.m. in the dark with just my twinkle lights, and all those things with the creepy man monster out in the dark. I just kept hearing noises and thought it was coming for me. So don't read Crown of Midnight late at night. It does not work. So in Throne of Glass, I was all about Dorian. I was like, yep. And then Crown of Midnight happened. I was like, well, hello, Kale. You came out of the woodwork, out of nowhere. I mean, you kind of get it at the end of Throne of Glass after he's killed Cain for her. But holy cow, their whole scene where they're at the restaurant, at the apothecary, and they're dancing, and it's beautiful. But then miscommunication is a plot device, which is the worst plot device. So if he had just been honest about what the king was telling him about Nehemiah, all this would have been resolved and she wouldn't be so sad. And the end of Crown of Midnight reminded me a lot of the end of the entire inheritance cycle, which is just heading off into the new world. And I know it's very similar to the inheritance cycle because I've been spoiled because I saw a YouTube comment and it was on a video that wasn't even about the series at all. And I was still spoiled. I was so angry. I was like, are you kidding me? YouTube comments should just be called a spoiler pit because that's all they are. Going in, I did know about the ending of Crown of Midnight, about her true parentage. She's alien why are there no pronunciation guides in this book? Aelin Ashriver Galathenius. So I mean, I knew about that from Tumblr, and I was okay that I knew that going in, that she had a secret identity, because I'm like, it'll work itself out. But there's enough foreshadowing that I feel like you could have known about that before. Queen Elena's like, we're bound by blood. And I definitely love this book because of the royal aspect. Why do I keep reading books about princes and princesses? Maxon from The Selection, Khalid from The Wrath and the Dawn, Char from Ella Enchanted, Tamlin and Rise from Court of Thorns and Roses, Robb Stark. It's something about that of princes trying to find their way when they're still a prince before they're king and they know what their role is gonna be eventually. I like that concept. I adored that a woman could have her period in this book and not be thought of as weak, and that Sarah J. Maas actually wrote that out and included it and wasn't just like a side throwaway. Like that was like actually a scene, and that she tells a man about it and he's uncomfortable because of course they're uncomfortable because men can't handle blood unless they're the ones slicing through somebody. And then the day after reading Throne of Glass, I decided I should start working out and running all the time because Selena Sornothian should be my inspiration, which he still is, just on a slower amount because I don't want to start barfing after running. So I was in pain for like 4 days after. I was like, oh why? Poor choices were made. I loved the secret tunnel behind the tapestry. Give me a secret tunnel any day in any book, any movie, anything, and I will love it.
Secret tunnel through the mountains. Secret tunnel.
One of the best episodes of Avatar: Lost Airbender. That along with the Ember Island players, both of those episodes, fantastic. I appreciate that there was a map because I know it's gonna expand, but it's really frustrating when there's a map and then there's places on that map that they don't even get to in that book, which I understand that she's trying to set me up for this world. And the world building was good within the scene. I mean, besides small descriptions like of the Silver Lake or the Tesseract Forest, but I couldn't really imagine how all these people lived in the country and in the entire continent besides like a few of the setting places. Well, that's all from me. My name's Laura. This has been Bookies and Cookies. I post videos Sundays, Wednesdays, sometimes Saturdays, book reviews on Thursdays. I love each and every one of you. I hope you're having a great day. And remember, an assassin's loyalties are always in doubt, but her heart never wavers. Except it totally does. Her heart totally wavers.
Look, it's my cat.
She hates being held. She hates it. Oh, there we go. There we go. There we go. Okay.
Meow. Meow meow.
You bit me. I'm not gonna love you. Not right now.